I got distracted. So I noticed after I got done with the session, and I had 3 minutes left, or I got done with this chapter and I had 3 minutes left, that I was gonna move on to a completely different thing. And so what I want to do in those moments where I have a little bit of extra time before I move on to something almost completely different is I want to essentially review the material. Like, what questions do I have? Like, if I mean, these things only really matter if I'm actually engaged with the content in as a whole. Because if I'm not interested, then I'm less likely gonna retain the information. So like you're asking yourself for essentially no reason. That's why it's important to have fun while you're doing this and really be engaged with your with the study material. Like, have a reason to do this. I usually put above whoops. I usually put above my articles that I write, like, what am I trying to do here? Why am I writing this article in the first place? Like, and it only, for me, it only really matters is if I have a problem that I want to solve. Like, so that would be the first question. That would be the first prompt. Like, what would be the first question to that would be the first question. So, what problem am I solving here? And then I put down the problem, right? What is the fact that I have in my head that gets us, that could potentially help in solving the problem? So I put that fact down, right? And then I put my own conclusion, like my own thought down, like the resolving thing that ties the progressing fact and the problem together, and that is the point of the article. So I do that. So it's really important, essential actually, to have a drive. What would make this more fun to you? The process is important. Like, it's not just practice. Like, a lot of people, let's say for me as a musician, like, I practice. I can't really hear that. I practice piano, but really take into consideration and write down. Oh wait, I forgot to set the timer. Oh no, well, this isn't really a break, so I'll keep going. Really, write down how much frustration during that practice you had. Like, how much was it considered a grind to you? And, like, when I say grind, I'm like, that's different from actually just enjoying. Like, I'm defining those things differently, because ultimately the context of practice that you put yourself into, it makes a whole lot of difference, because that's kind of like how you're going to talk about the process of practice itself, the process of repetition. If we don't have a refined process, like one that engages us, then all of those moments are going to add up. Like, all the frustrations, all of the all the things that also come out of having practiced. Sure, we get developed skills out of practicing, but at what cost? Really, ask yourself, at what cost? It might be the cost of thinking about practice in a negative light, and we might not be conscious of that. So it's really important to learn to practice in your own way. Practicing how to practice, like making all this your own, right? And really trying to write down, find out what's interesting to you, so that you can reinterpret the material and put your own spin on it, because that's what makes it fun. That's what really makes it fun. Trust me. I have an Instagram page where I make music theory more approachable, and it started out by me writing down, or me making these graphics on how I wanted to see music theory being laid out. And so I have an example here. I'll pull it up in here. So these And so I like when I look at this, I'm like, yes, this is what I want to look at. Look, I have this pixel text, I have color coded notes, I have my own notes here, and I have my background um, that I made. I designed this whole thing. I had all the notes, and then all I did was take the information and put it in a fun context. That was the crux of me improving my own practicing process, right? So now I can look back at this, and then anybody can look back at this, and then see like, okay, like this is kind of, this looks kind of cool. Like, what is this? Once you have someone ask you, what is this? You got them. Like that's your time to shine. You know, that like that's where you can lay out all of the cool things about what you're learning. And so this makes it fun. Learning how to, you know, create your own graphics to where it's like yeah, like I want to see textbooks have this, like this kind of stuff in it. That's when you could say like, okay, like I'm actually enjoying studying. Enjoying studying. Isn't that quite like, isn't that a paradox to hear? Enjoying studying. Like nobody really enjoys studying. But I mean, like there's really no difference between studying, learning, and learning. And with like there's no difference when there's enjoyment. Like when you're enjoying something, like yeah, sure you're learning, but when you're watching, like when you're watching what you're learning and you're having fun, you're studying. You're practicing. You're practicing getting better at that thing through your learning capacities. So yeah, it's very important to make that process your own. Okay, now the break starts.